This is American Republic. In case you forgot what class you are in, this is Chapter 2, The Great Depression and the New Deal. This is the first video of Week 4, so please make sure that you have already turned in your Week 3 packet. That included your Chapter 21 test, along with other things. We are starting Chapter 22. By getting your Week 4 packet, you should have your notes, plus everything that will be assigned during this week. Reminder, please do not turn in your notes with your packet. You still need those notes for the test, for the quiz, for having in class next week. So keep your notes, but turn in all homeworks and quizzes and tests when you turn them in. All right, we are starting this new chapter, and we're on page 431 in your books. I want you to read the intro 3 paragraphs to yourself. Once you have finished reading those paragraphs, please unpause this video, and we will resume. The fact of the matter was, in 1929, the stock market crash signaled the beginning of the Great Depression. Roman number 1, the bubble bursts. In 1928, Herbert Hoover had declared, "We in America today are nearer to the final triumph over poverty than ever before in the history of any land." But soon, millions of Americans would be unemployed, homeless, and hungry. The Roaring Twenties gave way to the Great Depression. Letter A, causes of the Depression. This is the topic of the essay that you will need to know for this test. So highlight this, circle this, star this, do what you need to do, write essay on the side of your notes so that you remember this is what will be on, or this will be the essay for your test. If you want more details into this information than what I will provide, please refer to pages 431 and 432. There were several reasons for the Depression. Why are we studying this, Mr. Merrill? The fact is, we need to study history so we learn the lessons from it. Do we want a depression today? Answer is no. So, we got to learn from the mistakes of the past, from the factors of the past, and see how can we respond? How can we not face the same problems that they faced nearly 90 years ago? So let's begin. Number 1, there was an economic slowdown. Workers lost jobs and production decreased. Farmers were suffering from low prices before the crash. Some workers were laid off as demand for their products declined. With fewer people working, fewer people had money to purchase goods on the market. Since fewer people were buying, fewer goods were produced, which shrank the employment numbers further. So, there was an economic slowdown. Number 2, overuse of credit. Americans bought goods using credit and had built up a huge debt that they could not pay back. Like using a credit card today, people would purchase goods they couldn't afford and hope to pay it off later. As people continued to pay higher interests on their debts, they couldn't afford buying anything new. Production declined, people lost jobs, businesses began to fail. Number 3, speculation. People purchased land hoping to be able to sell it at a higher price. Land value was going up during the 1920s, especially in Florida. Miami alone boasted 2,000 real estate offices in 1925. Some people made great profits buying land cheaply and selling at a higher price. Others bought their land on credit and soon found out they could not pay the interest. Others were swindled into buying undesirable land, even swamps. All of that came to an end in 1926 when, you guessed it, hurricanes hit Florida, putting an end to the land speculation there. But land was not the only thing that people were hoping to make a profit on. Stock speculation continued to rise as the economy slowed. From 1927 to 1929, the stocks continued to go up. Those who speculated looked for quick profits when the prices rose. Rather than paying attention to the earnings of the company, which indicated the actual value of the company, people assumed stock prices would keep going up no matter what the industries did. The idea was to buy low and to sell high. Buy it cheaply, sell it so you can make a lot of money. But what if you didn't have enough money to buy stock as is? Well, they had an option for you there too. It's called buying on the margin. This allowed speculators to buy a part of the full stock price with the hopes of making a profit. Let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, that a stock costs $100. Nice round number. A speculator buys on the margin from the broker and gets the same stock for only $10. Hey, you bought a $100 stock for only $10. The idea was, if the price of the stock continues to go up, the buyer makes a profit and he can pay the other $90 back and get money for it. But what happens if the value of the stock goes down? If the price of the stock goes down, the broker has to call in the loan and the buyer owes even more money to something that's worth less. That's what happened in 1929. If you look at page 432, it shows you a couple charts of major companies that existed in 1928 and 1929. You can see the price growth of shares from 1928 to 1929. American Can nearly went up by 2.5 times. AT&T 2.5 times. Union Carbide went up 3 times as high. So you can see that this was a huge growth in stocks. But then you can see from 1929, September 3rd, to November 13th, just a couple months later, how quickly those same stock companies fell down. American Can dropped more than half. AT&T dropped half. So you can see that this stock market crash will greatly affect the economy. Throughout the summer of 1929, stock prices continued to climb, although both prices and business profits were falling at the same time. That will not last. And number 4, the fourth and final reason for the stock market crash was because of international economic problems. The fact was, international trade declined, and Europe could not pay their war debts to the U.S. The U.S. passed a tariff to protect American industries from foreign competition. Other countries responded by raising tariffs on American goods. Europe owed the U.S. more than $11 billion that they could not pay. The U.S. had also loaned Germany money to help it rebuild after the war. But they had spent their money on the reparation payments instead to the Allies. When the crash came, most of the money from those international loans were lost. The end of American credit and prosperity only deepened Europe's already severe depression. Believe it or not, students, that's all we're going to cover for today. I know, shorter class period today. Hope you all have a good rest of the day. Be good, do good. Bye.